let's look at logistics and the amount of information to show that making available the DOP on a website is the only sensible way and the only practical way for distributors. If a manufacturer sells a batch of products to a distributor, the CPR obliges him to send a copy of the declaration of performance with each batch, at least one. Of course, he could also attach it to all the pallets, one copy per pallet, but we just take, for this example, the minimum requirements of the CPR. The distributor, when he sells a part of this batch to the contractor, he will have to deliver a copy of that declaration of performance he received with each part batch that he sells from the original batch that he received. So when he delivers the next products to the next contractors, he'll have to provide another copy of the declaration with another part batch. Now, if a contractor asks for more products than he has on stock, he will have to go back to the manufacturer and order additional products. If he's lucky, the same DOP will apply for the second batch. If not, he will get an additional copy of the DOP. And now, of course, if he sells one pallet from the first batch and the second from the second batch, he would have to identify that, of course, for the first pallet he needs to deliver a copy of the first declaration of performance, and for the second a copy of the second. Well, we all know that in theory this might work, but in practice there is no way it will work. And the whole thing becomes, of course, more complicated because the same products are delivered by several manufacturers, and of course the distributors do not necessarily buy from one manufacturer alone, but buy where they get the products the cheapest. Now, the problems can be taken to the next level if we're talking about products for which not only a declaration of performance has to be provided, but also together with the declaration of performance, the REACH information that is required according to Article 6.5 of the CPR. And the problem is that that information, irrespective of what REACH says, has to be provided at the same time and in the same format as the DOP. So if the DOP is provided in paper form, also the safety datasheet or the safety information according to REACH has to be provided. Looking at mortars, which is a typical product for which you have to provide a safety datasheet, so we are talking about the declaration of performance and in addition to it safety datasheets, which, as you know, easily amount to something like 20 to 30 pages. I figured out that only the calcium silicate industry in Germany would produce a stack of paper of round about 190 meters per year, just for their own products, and assuming that they provide a copy of the declaration of performance with every batch and not with every pallet. Now, calcium silicate producers are also distributors of mortars, and in average, with every second delivery batch there is also mortar on the lorry. And that means that for that mortar, the manufacturers, the calcium silicate manufacturers, who then act as distributors, would need to provide a copy of the declaration of performance for the 2 bags of mortars that they sell from the huge batch that they received, and in addition to it, a copy of the safety datasheet that they received for that mortar. This amount of paper, just for the mortar business within the calcium silicate industry, would amount to another 290 meters of paper per year.